This is version number 2. Number 1 had when you had enough paracord, scraps of paracord, offcuts of paracord to tie from tree number 1 to tree number 2, to then hang your tarp over that, and then use any other bits of paracord to tighten the end of the tarp towards the tree or onto the rope, onto the ridgeline. This is number 2. This is going to be using poles and very little, just basically you could say it's 2 pieces of paracord long enough to wrap around the tree and reach the pole where the tarp is going to be sitting on top, and being able to tie it strong enough that it's taut. Okay, so now option 1 is if you don't want to spend too much time on it, then just assemble your poles, get this guy on top there as hard as you can, and you're just going to take the paracord, so make it as tight as you can around it so it fits nice and tight, and then you'll tie the paracord itself to the tree. And obviously once you tighten the other side and do the exact same thing, the center of the tarp will create its own ridgeline. Maybe might not be as stable as the other one in the wind, but for an emergency shelter it's absolutely perfectly fine if you have minimal gear, minimal equipment. What I have done, I've searched the ground and I've found most of the wood here is pretty well rotted, but in this case I found something which is strong enough so I could put that down there. Now what I'll be able to do is also loop the paracord through here somehow. We'll find, you'll all find your own better way to do it, whether it's putting it through here and tying a knot, whether it's physically looping it through. This is probably a good method because you can then take it on like that. And then you can go ahead and tie it onto the tree. Preferably if you have saws and stuff, don't do too much damage to nature, but you can get green wood which wouldn't snap as easy. This wood is hard enough and short enough to do what I need to do with it today. So personal opinion, final result of the 3 shelters. This one isn't that hard to put up as well. Obviously I needed the bungee cord for the centerpiece there. And then obviously these smaller bungee things just on the front. The back were just pegged in as usual. You only need 2 pegs. I only demonstrated putting 2 extra pegs in there just to make it a bit more tight, you know, weatherproof from the back when not lifting it up, etc. Why I prefer this one, it's a little bit more low profile, and at the same time you can exit out of there pretty easily. That's what I was doing when I was taking photos and stuff. You can just come out of here really easily, and then obviously if you wanted to, you could maybe have, if you really wanted to, you could have a bungee here and a bungee here. But personally I'd have one there and I'd leave this as is. I wouldn't want this to be tied in. That way you just release this one and then you can still get out pretty easily over there, and then that one will just be tied in to prevent it from sliding off and just being more tight at the bottom really. I prefer this setup. The other 2 setups were fine, but I really enjoy the lean-to option. This is extremely low profile, as you can see. I do quite like that. I mean, if you're expecting pretty heavy rain, this is an extremely small corner of a woodland, which is extremely small. I'm talking like from underneath that oak over there to where that field starts, all the way through to here till the next field starts. We're talking like 25 meters max. So if it was raining really hard, this is not deep enough in the woodland to stop rain from going sideways. Luckily there is an oak here, broadleaf, so that might help. But if it's really bucketing down like how it does in the UK and it comes sideways, then this one is probably the best one you can go for.